Hello, and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. This was, without a doubt, the most talked about issue in the XRP subreddit. Also, I believe it to be generally true in the field of cryptography. Here's the headline you've been waiting for, confirming Gary Gensler's departure from the SEC. Oh, I could go for a helping of that. Is it true that it's Christmas in July, or am I being duped? As it turns out, though, this is completely false. This is to be anticipated, though, from this platform. This particular crypto media site covering this rubbish is called the Crypto Alert. Now, this was seen by millions upon millions of people today. No, that's not an exaggeration. When I feel powerless to stop the propagation of such drivel, I am especially grateful for the platform I have. Also, it's important that we discuss our respective roles and responsibilities in the context of information disclosure. There are a few things I want to say about that. This is a fabricated report, but Attorney John Deaton has some thoughts on the matter because, the truth be told, this is not meant to be a joke. The statement is completely false. I'm not sure of the site's motivations, I'm just pointing out that this isn't an XRP parody. The objective is to trick you. Therefore, there is a strong backlash against Gary Gensler, and his continued employment is not certain. In reality, Attorney John Deaton believes that to be the case, despite the fact that the narrative itself is incorrect. However, I will state up front that I come from no financial background whatsoever. I'm not here to give you money advice. No matter what, you should not make any speculative purchases or sales. I apologize. Sure, do as I say. For fun and as a pastime, I enjoy making videos about crypto-related topics to share on YouTube. Do you guys remember this headline from Crypto Alert a few weeks ago? I called it complete and utter rubbish when I reported on it. Ripple Labs is reportedly planning to repurchase 10 billion XRP from the market. Yes, you're quite correct. According to this source, Ripple planned to repurchase 10 billion XRP. And at the going rate, that's almost $5 billion. I have no idea where they were planning on getting that kind of money from. And this is meant to be a good thing? It makes zero sense. I decided to document my visit to the About Us page at that time. At the time, they also had a collection of stock images that were clearly stolen from other sites and renamed. One of them, a John Smith, supposedly worked with Crypto Alert, and he had a picture of him with him. Another person posed as Jane Doe. They just tore it all up. And the About Us page is just a generic one with, stuff that I'm not going to read because it's already on your screen. They are saying nothing but meaningless, generic drivel about this website. Also, from what I gather, these websites were up for maybe 2 weeks tops before they were taken down. Okay, I'll admit it, I've seen something else by them, and all I can do is roll my eyes. What's even stranger is that they truly have backstories. And all I do is skim some of them, the things they provide on their website. It's not fake news at all. On the other hand, they throw in some utterly made-up nonsense in an attempt to draw attention to themselves. However, it is not the proper form of publicity, as they have completely sold their identity. I don't know if they felt they could make such sweeping claims without eventually justifying their reasoning. Given that they are the only media outlet covering this story, I don't think it will end well. Documented Ripple is a Twitter account worth following. To give you an idea, this has been seen 101,400 times, and you can see me circling the screen with my mouse here. This story has also been viewed from a wheelchair. Over 1.5 million people have viewed this. This is in addition to the 671,500 daily views generated by digital assets. This ridiculous information has been transmitted to literally millions upon millions of people. If someone is only attempting to spread news from reliable sources, including pieces from crypto media, I'm willing to overlook certain mistakes on their part. I don't necessarily hold those who are dispersing them responsible. But now that I've seen that, with this website's history, they have. It might be wise to at least check out the source before moving through with it. And if there are trustworthy sources, it will say that they are generally acknowledged. It's their own fault if they make a mistake. Still, I won't be quick to assume the worst of the one who is passing it along. After all, they probably tripped up too. You should know by now that Crypto Alert is not generally writing factual stuff. This has been well debated in the community. That's about as far as I'm willing to go, and it would probably be wise to back off a bit on some of this stuff. Let me provide the highlights so you can get a sense of the claims being made, and remember that whatever I say is simply my opinion and can be changed at any time. The following is a complete fabrication and is presented here as nonsense. A shocking rumor has surfaced claiming that Gary Gensler, the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission, has resigned from his position as chairman in the wake of an internal inquiry. The financial sector has been rocked by this bombshell report, with serious consequences for investor confidence and questions about the credibility of the regulatory body. An SEC official, speaking anonymously due to the sensitivity of the situation, said that Gary Gensler had resigned as chairman of the SEC after an internal inquiry into allegations of misconduct. The investigation specifics are off-limits, but the resignation decision reflects the seriousness of the quote findings, which is why I tweeted about it at 8:37 this morning. They're reacting to this news as if it were Christmas in July, but I've written that it's fake because it is. In the end, confirmation was obtained. It's hilarious to consider that, if the websites are to be believed, someone actually thought up all this stuff. And here we have Charles Gasparini as a result of legitimate journalists investigating the matter. Alongside Fox Business. He had to check with his sources to confirm or deny this claim, and when he did so he naturally reported breaking news. Gary Gensler has not resigned, according to the SEC PR. This is, of course, completely fabricated, so color me shocked. Now, this doesn't rule out the possibility of a future resignation by Gary Gensler for reasons unconnected to the current situation. Not yet, replied attorney John Deaton, who retweeted this. However, the time of year when elections are held has arrived. The more of a political burden weapons owned by Gary become, the more likely it is that this will occur. Although this is obviously a work of fiction, attorney Deaton has already broached the subject of the potential of something like this occurring. It's not hard to see why that is the case. It's just going to get worse for the SEC as they continue to engage in this massive jurisdictional overreach and do things that are obviously outside the scope of their authority as granted by Congress. At some point, it becomes obvious and excessive when a government entity goes beyond its constitutional authority. When that happens, you're no longer useful in politics. Whether or not that occurs before this one remains to be seen. Anyway, I found this paper that shows there are people fighting back against Gary Gensler. To be precise, I wrote this a few days ago. But the James rule was shared by XRP today. And I just don't see the point in reading it in its entirety. There is a general consensus that Gary Gensler isn't acting in good faith and may be doing things that aren't allowed, such as using a communication method that could be personal email to conduct official business. This has led to a number of questions from members of Congress, including Patrick McHenry, who is becoming an increasingly well-known name in the world of crypto. Of course, they also promise to remain off the record. You know, the S-word hits the fan, and we've seen all kinds of things with Alexa the Hindman, email, and so on. So now people are wondering if he or anyone else at the agency is up to no good. I don't want to read all the questions since I'm not sure I can answer them. There are currently many of them visible on your screen. But, I mean, will he even bother to respond to this? If he reacts at all, will his explanations satisfy your curiosity? I have my doubts. This person does not value honesty. The concept of openness is foreign to Gary Gensler. Let's wait and see what develops. Again, it's not impossible that you might have read an actual headline someday claiming that Gary Gensler had resigned as chair of the SEC. If a similar headline appears again, however, you'd be wise to double-check the source to be sure it isn't fabricated. And at this time, it should come as no surprise that this crypto alert website is not trustworthy and is actually just making stuff up. No justification is needed for relating such tales. If you feel compelled to share it, a disclaimer to the effect that, hey, this is fake news that makes sense might be appropriate. Look at this, they're a group that's been known to spread false information in the past. If you're going to tell the narrative, at least make it sound more logical. In case you're passing along the article to warn others that it's bogus. So, hopefully, you'll find this someplace else. Realize that it is not true. That works for me. I seriously doubt that she would do that. If so, that's great. Assistive, for sure. Actually. So, let's hope that is expanded upon. Again, I'll continue to make exceptions based on how I feel about it. You have to draw the line somewhere, and it's pretty evident that Crypto Alert is a fraud at this point if it's a website for a crypto media source rather than a user-submitted story. To paraphrase, I only wanted to see whether there was a substantial claim, therefore I'm asking you to do the same. This concludes the discussion. All I'm requesting is that I don't give advice on money matters. Nothing I say should influence any purchases you make for yourself. And please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.